What if one of Ash's most important companions never joined his journey? Imagine, after earning his first badge in Pewter City, Ash travels through Kanto with only Misty by his side. Without Brock, everything changes, and the journey to the Pokemon League is an entirely different story. The sun rises over Pewter City, and Ash and Misty step out onto the open road. Behind them is the badge Ash earned, maybe not entirely by skill, but through a dose of luck, and let's be honest, a sprinkle of sympathy. But standing beside him isn't Brock, the steady hand Ash and Misty don't realize they'll miss. Instead, it's just the two of them, ready to conquer Kanto. But the journey ahead is already feeling a little less sure. The very first steps out of Pewter City are filled with excitement, but also uncertainty. Ash, bursting with confidence, insists they move quickly. Misty, ever the planner, tries to slow things down. Without Brock's calm mediation, even the small decisions, a rest stop here, a detour there, turn into bickering matches. Their backpacks are stuffed with Pokeballs and snacks from Pewter's Pokemart, because, with no Brock, campfire meals and clever rationing are out the window. The real test comes sooner than expected. Mount Moon, a vast maze-like cave filled with rare Pokemon and danger. In the anime, Brock would pull out a map, share trivia about Clefairy, and prep for Team Rocket's schemes. But here, Ash and Misty stand just outside the cave, debating about which way to go. Ash's gut says left, Misty's logic says right. The result? They go in circles, wasting precious daylight and burning through food more quickly than Brock ever would have let happen. Inside, the tension only builds. Their flashlights flicker, they forgot spare batteries. Ash tries to fight every wild Zubat they encounter, draining his Pokemon's energy, never realizing how Brock used to pace their battles and spread out the work. The pair stumbles upon a group of Clefairy performing a mysterious moonlight dance. A sight Brock would have explained, earning the Pokemon's trust. Instead, Ash barrels forward, eager for a new capture, startling the Clefairy and nearly starting a stampede. Misty pulls him back just in time, scolding him for not showing respect, but it's clear both are out of their depth. Team Rocket soon appears, making matters worse. This time, Ash and Misty have to improvise. No Brock to come up with a clever trap. Their solution isn't clean. They scramble, throw out Pokemon, and through sheer luck and a bit of teamwork, drive Team Rocket away. But it's messy. At the cave's exit, the duo is dirty, hungry, and tired, collapsing under a tree and realizing just how much they took for granted. Night falls. Ash and Misty burn through their instant noodles, the only meal they can muster with no Brock around. The camp is haphazard, a tent set up sideways, sleeping bags bunched up uneasily on rocks. In the darkness, Pikachu and the others nuzzle in closer, sensing the uncertainty. And as they stare up at the stars, Ash and Misty both wonder, if getting through one cave was this hard, how will they ever make it to the next gym? The road ahead isn't going to get any easier. What do you think would have happened at Cerulean City without Brock's grown-up advice? Would Ash get the badge or lose a friend? Let's find out in the next chapter. Mount Moon is behind them, but the real trouble is just beginning. Ash and Misty are a team on paper. In practice, they're just two kids whose stubbornness and pride are starting to catch up in painful ways. Every misstep is magnified. Every small mistake without Brock's know-how becomes a real problem. The first sign, Pokemon health. Brock was the group's medic, quietly tending to scrapes after battles. Without him, Pikachu is limping after a tough fight with wild Pokemon. Bulbasaur's vines are bruised. Ash, panicked, rushes to the next Pokemon Center, where Nurse Joy gives him a crash course on wound care meals. Don't get easier either. With supplies dwindling, Ash and Misty try their luck with local berries. They quickly learn that not every plant in Viridian Forest is safe, and after one dinner, both end up with stomach aches. Misty grumbles about Ash's choices, but they're forced to laugh it off, bond over their shared misfortune, and make a game plan to stock up at every town, Then comes the biggest emotional test yet. Charmander's rescue. In the Brock timeline, he's the one who spots the abandoned Pokemon and insists the trio help. Here, it's Misty who notices Charmander barely clinging to life. She pleads with Ash to do something, and he responds, clumsily at first, unsure what to do. Together, they battle Damien, Charmander's neglectful trainer. But without Brock, the rescue is tense. Ash is ready to challenge Damien to a battle right there, while Misty wants to comfort Charmander. Eventually, Ash listens to Misty's advice, and with Nurse Joy's help, they nurse Charmander back to health. The lesson is hard. Ash realizes Pokemon need care, not just strength, and Misty steps into a new role as both partner and mentor gym battles. A whole new struggle. Ash struts into Cerulean City, ready to win. The sisters are unimpressed. Ash loses quickly, his team tired and underprepared. When Misty steps forward as the last gym leader, it's personal. Their rivalry boils over, but this time, there's no Brock to cool tempers. The battle itself is scrappy. Ash, humbled by the loss, asks Misty for advice instead of ignoring her Pikachu senses the tension and refuses to fight, forcing Ash to use other Pokemon and get creative. Despite the clash, Team Rocket interrupts, and Ash and Misty have no choice but to work together. The fight against Team Rocket is messy but successful. The chaos actually brings them closer, forcing honest teamwork for the first time. With each setback and every uncomfortable meal, Ash and Misty slowly learn the value of listening and compromise. After Cerulean City, their partnership is less about rivalry and more about survival, and eventually, friendship. But beyond Cerulean's bright lights lie the next gyms, tougher challenges, and the looming question: can Ash and Misty continue to grow, or will their differences pull them apart before they ever reach the Indigo League? In the next chapter, we see if this new alliance can survive the trials of Vermilion City and beyond. What would you have done with Brock's absence? Could you handle the heat, or would you throw in the towel? Let's find out together. Months have passed since Ash and Misty first left Pewter City. Every badge earned came with scars, literal and emotional. Now at the gates of the Indigo Plateau, Ash stands on the edge of his greatest challenge, yet he's got the 8 badges, a team he's fought for, and a friendship built on trial by fire. But as the League battles loom, the question is clear. Can Ash make it without the steady guidance Brock once offered? Inside the Indigo Stadium, the pressure is enormous. The crowd roars. Trainers from all over Kanto have come, each team polished by years of discipline and support at Ash's Pokemon stand ready. But their journey is written in bruises, hard-won trust, and patchwork strategies. The first match sees Ash stumbling, not because he's careless, but because the competition is steep with Brock. There would have been pre-battle strategy, advice on type matchups and tactics. Now, it's all on Ash and Misty. Ash leans heavily on his instincts, and Misty lends tips from her own experience. Their teamwork pays off, barely. Ash wins his opener by inventiveness, using Pikachu's agility in new ways, relying on Charmander's desperate loyalty, and channeling every lesson learned from their rocky travels. The win is messy, but it's a win they earned together. But the deeper Ash goes into the tournament, the more glaring Brock's absence becomes. His Pokemon are strong, but show signs of fatigue. Moves lack the polish of a team trained by a true tactician. Ash tries desperately to remember what Nurse Joy taught him about on-the-spot care Misty helps, but her own team is prepping for gym matches back in Cerulean. When Ash faces Richie, one of the best rising trainers, he's unprepared for the level of strategic thinking Richie's team operates like a well-trained squad. Coordinated, disciplined, rested. Ash, improvising, tries every move he knows. Pikachu fights bravely, but the constant pressure from earlier rounds shows. Charizard's rebellious streak is harder to manage than ever. Misty cheers from the stands, urging Ash on. No matter the outcome, their friendship is forged in the fire of this journey. The final moments are tense. Ash's gambles don't all pay off. He loses to Richie, honorably, this time, not in humiliation, but in recognition of how much he's grown. Ash walks off the field, not with a trophy, but with respect from his peers and a new sense of humility. The journey home from Indigo Plateau is filled with reflection. Ash didn't reach the top, but what he learned was more valuable than a championship. He's no longer just a kid chasing badges. Now, he knows the importance of preparation, of listening, of leaning on true friends. And Misty, she returns to Cerulean City with pride for her partner in adventure, knowing that together they beat the odds, even without Brock. But this league is only the beginning. What would Ash's next journey look like, having learned all these hard lessons? Would he face new adventures differently, and could Misty become an even stronger leader herself? Let me know your thoughts. Could Ash have gone farther with Brock, or did this journey make him stronger than he ever imagined? Stay tuned for Section 4, where Pallet Town offers a new start and deeper growth. The crowds of the Indigo Plateau have faded into memory. Ash and Misty return to Pallet Town, their journey marked not by a trophy, but by hard-earned wisdom and the unbreakable bond of two friends who made it together. Without Brock, but never truly alone. The future is uncertain, and for the first time Ash wonders, what does it really mean to be a great trainer now that his first big adventure is over? Back home, life slows down. Ash spends his mornings at Professor Oak's lab, not running off for glory, but feeding Pokemon, cleaning habitats, and actually listening to Oak's advice instead of tuning it out. He's still ambitious, but there's a layer of humility now, a willingness to learn that wasn't there before. Misty visits on weekends. Their dynamic has changed. They're less rivals and more partners, mentoring each other. When Ash confides his frustration about losing at the league, Misty reminds him of every victory along the way. Charmander's rescue, the tough gym wins, the constant Team Rocket disruptions they stopped with their own resourcefulness. Slowly, Ash begins to see the bigger picture. Being a great trainer isn't just about battles. It's about care, learning, and respect. He remembers tough lessons, improvised first aid from Nurse Joy, survival skills forged through trial and error, moments when he and Misty had to put aside pride to get by. With Brock's absence, every hardship forced Ash to grow up. The mistakes became the real badges he earned, not the kind pinned to a jacket, but the kind you carry in your heart. As spring rolls in, Professor Oak offers Ash a new challenge. This time, rather than rushing off unprepared, Ash spends weeks planning, researching every possible scenario, and rebuilding trust with his Pokemon. Misty helps him train, pushing him harder, but celebrating every improvement. When Ash finally sets out again, maybe to the Orange Islands or some brand new adventure, he does so as a trainer forged by struggle, friendship, and learning the hard way. The journey without Brock wasn't easier, but it molded Ash into someone truly ready for anything, a leader who knows when to push, when to listen, and when to ask for help. But what about you? Do you think Ash would have grown into the same legendary trainer without those painful lessons? Or does every hero need an anchor like Brock in their story? Share your thoughts below, and let's keep exploring the what-ifs of Pokemon together.